Noel Toolan, marketing guru, welcome to HealthXL.
Thank you, Marty.
You were down meeting the teams today.
Absolutely, and it's now 7 p.m. and I'm exhausted, and it's time to ask questions about what you've been doing all day.
That's right. Yeah, so what have you been doing? What have you been telling me?
Well, yeah, interesting bunch, day one, kind of, in terms of mentor feedback. So I've been concentrating on getting the guys to explain simply, you know, what they do, yeah. What they do and what they do for the world, which is slightly different.
Right.
So from a marketing point of view, really concentrating on, you know, what exactly is your offer and why should it make any damn difference to the world, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then think through the basics out of that of positioning, who is your competition, not who are the people that are like you,
right.
Who are you going to displace.
Right.
And in some cases, in a lot of cases, you're displacing nothing.
Right.
There is nothing. You're actually, you know, they wouldn't be doing this at all if they weren't doing that kind of getting people to think that through. Yeah. And then sort of saying, now let's talk about how you should be positioned, who your competition is, and then why you are different, why people should give a damn about you.
Right. Right. So you have a lot of experience outside of healthcare, lots of different industries. What can you see in other industries that could be applied to, you know, to an industry that's just starting to use technology, really, right? Yeah,
well, it's interesting. A lot of industries, that's absolutely true. Incredibly different, from large-scale public service right through to startup entrepreneurial like this. Right. And frankly, it's pretty much the same. You know, if you haven't got the positioning correct, if you don't really know what your product, your service does for the world, it's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
Or you're just going to get unexplained sales and not really understand why. So from pretty much any industry, I've found that if you don't get that positioning right, you might have unexplained success, and that's dangerous. If you don't get the positioning right, usually you won't get sales anyway.
Yeah.
So spending the time at the early stage especially of understanding what market you are really in, what you are going to displace in terms of what happens already, what makes you different and distinctive from your alternative offerings, and then kind of stitching it together in terms of a value proposition, a brand, a name, and all the things after. How do I now target and focus? Right. So, you know, the market, I hear a lot about, you know, the market is huge. It doesn't matter if the market is huge or small. It's what is the addressable market today? Where are my first customers going to come from?
That's a huge problem in this industry because there's a lot of inertia, right?
That's right.
Actually getting somebody, like the competition, as you said, could be do nothing. Right?
Exactly.
So what do you advise these guys in terms of actually getting somebody's attention to get them to do something different? You know, whether it's to take a different medicine or to monitor. Are there tactics or strategies you got?
There certainly are principles that are useful. Like, you know, find out. It sounds simple, but who are the early adopters? It doesn't matter too much about where they come from, how big they are, etc. But people that will actually potentially take the product, buy the service, and use it. Those are the people, and concentrate on getting them first, and then, frankly, learning from them.
Right.
So don't just sell it to them, but talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
We talked about, you know, quantitative feedback is interesting. Qualitative feedback is really important. Right. So if you've got a user base, and a user base means not that they bought it once, but they bought it, liked it, used it, liked it again, and bought another one.
Right.
That's a user.
Right.
Now, because they're an early user, you can learn a hell of a lot from them. And acknowledge to them that they're an early user and bring them into the process. And learn, listen to them. And then make your iterations, rather than improving it on the way that you think it should be improved. Right. So there are certain principles there that apply across all those industries to any kind of startup. And it will start pushing the inertia. It will.
Right. We were talking before about marketing is sometimes seen as like a lead generator, or you know, it's a cool ad, or a cool ad or something like that. But a lot of it goes really to the heart of who you are and who your company is, right? So how do you talk to the companies about, you know, tactics versus strategy?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly the way to put it. And there are two aspects to this: the tactics, which people are kind of it's obvious, it's logistical, it's almost engineering.
Right.
You know, who are the customers? How do I get to them? How many times do I have to be in front of them before they get me, etc. And people are usually very good about that. In fact, they're almost too much into it.
Right.
You know, cost of acquisition,
Yeah,
etc. You know, it's mathematics. It doesn't really matter. Sorry, it does matter, but unless you have the strategy right, you know, it's kind of pointless getting into it. So the trick is almost, I was saying to people in their 2 months, they've got to look at it two ways. One is the pipeline filling, tactical marketing to develop sales leads and loyalty, etc. And the other bit is the strategic. People usually don't spend enough time on the strategic to really understand, again, who am I, why do I count, what's my offering, and then some of the tougher stuff like, that's my offering now, what else could it be 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and do that thinking. And there's no harm in doing that at the start. In fact, that's the time that you should do it.
Because I guess once the company is more established, it's very hard to reverse out of that.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. If you start off ultra conservative, like a mini IBM, it's very hard to change from that.
Right.
So while you start off, you know, be nimble, be fast. You know, understand where you could go, or your positioning, and go for it. But don't be afraid to change as well. You know, you can. You're still small. You can change.
Right. That's one of the beauties, right?
That's one of the advantages. And being fast and nimble and flexible and responsive, you know, it's not only important to have it, it's absolutely vital right now. And small guys are better than big guys.
Because they can change.
Because they can change. They have less to move. So there is an advantage in this smallness and startup as well.
Cool.
So yeah, tactical is hugely important, but don't forget the strategic stuff. And in a startup boot camp kind of environment, you really have to work on both of those.
Yeah. So it's about 7:10 now, so we'll wrap it up. Thanks very much, Joe.
No problem. On to the next one.
Okay.